Yeah.
We're talking about Christmas traditions, of course. Might be the food you choose to eat, the games you play, or even what time you open the presents. That's a big one, isn't it? When two families with different routines come together, it can cause problems.
Yeah, it means compromises need to be made. So what about when you merge two sets of traditions? Here with advice is Reverend Sally Hitchiner, the chaplain of Brunel University in London, and Susie Heyman, who's a marriage counsellor. It can be quite tricky, can't it? Because people are really possessive over their family traditions.
They're possessive because they're indicators. Traditions are who you are and what you are. You belong to this tribe, you belong to this family by the things you do. They are rituals that actually are... And you're talking about food. In fact, that goes straight into the brain, and you remember the food you had, and you have this memory of your childhood, if you're an adult, of your childhood and how wonderful it was. But if you're a child, those traditions are so important, because if your family breaks up, that was the golden age. We were the family who did this when we were together. And if all of a sudden you're with other children who have a different tradition, you fight for your own, not necessarily because the tradition or the ritual is good, but because it indicates to you what the past was like and you want to go back to that.
And some of those can be, they obviously can be religious differences about, could be that someone goes to church always in the morning, maybe they go in the evening, maybe someone doesn't want to go to church at all. I mean, there are all sorts of little things that can become issues.
Absolutely, and I think this whole sense of what is your family tradition at Christmas, for many people they go to midnight mass. More and more people, 34% of people nationally go to a Christmas service of some sort. It's 42% of Londoners, so these are becoming sort of like more and more popular, even with the young actually. And actually, when I was a parish priest, we had a lot of people who come from the pub to midnight mass and have this sense of tradition that they're building that's different.
It's about community.
It is about gathering together, singing. Everyone loves Christmas carols, and the Christmas story itself is something that resonates quite powerfully. But I think this sense of different religious traditions is really important for a lot of people. And actually, I think it's good for the soul to have to do a few things that you don't like. But, when any family gets together, I don't know what your family's like, but we have certain members of our family who don't like certain TV programmes or who do like other things, or there's real sticklers for the Queen's speech or whatever. And I think once a year it does you good to have to make compromises.
It does you good to... Well, it's the compromise, but also it's the discussion. And I think this point about if people are clinging to a tradition, it means so much to them and it's creating enormous arguments. Where you start off from is actually saying, what is this about? You say to yourself as the adult, what are they really fighting about? It's not when you open the presents, it's I wish I was back in my original family. So you bring that out in the open and you talk about it.
How do you learn to compromise though? That can be so tricky, particularly at such a stressful and busy time of year.
Start a bit early.
Yeah.
Start today.
Yeah.
Don't leave it till tomorrow morning. Actually start talking now about how are we going to do this? How do you feel about that? Could we do it slightly differently? What does it matter? And if you actually say to a child in a separated family who is kicking off about this, if what you actually do is say, I can hear, it seems like, it sounds like, I understand you're feeling bad about what this means, that actually has tremendous power just to put it in words and acknowledge the fact that the child is unhappy, as I said, not about the tradition itself, but what that change in tradition has meant.
And I think it's really important as well to take the pressure off that no family is perfect at Christmas. The first Christmas family were far from perfect. They'd just got through a near divorce. They'd been struggling with money.
He was a stepfather.
Their stepfather, an untraditional family. They were in a foreign place. Their preparations had gone to pot. I think take the pressure off. You're not going to have the perfect family Christmas. Just accept what good there is there and actually enjoy being together.
And what children want. I mean, this is it. We've got into a bit of a cultural thing about buying stuff. We buy expensive presents for our children, often because we're cash rich but time poor, and we think what will really please them with all the things they've seen on television and want. Actually, what they want is your approval and your time.
And sometimes
play a board game.
When things go completely wrong at Christmas, as years go by, those can be the ones you remember most. I mean, if someone literally forgets to put the turkey in.
Yeah.
That's the best
do
one,
you know what I mean?
Because you pull together.
And I think often Christmas time, actually, often particularly for mums, but for certain members of the family, can feel pressured to make things work. And it's when something goes wrong, everyone gets a job, everyone feels that they've got a part to play.
That's right.
And it's everyone having their little part.
Share the chores. It's so important.
We have to leave it there. Have a lovely day tomorrow.
Thank you.
We shall.
This evening.
And as Charlie keeps reminding me, the roast potatoes really don't matter.
There's more important things. Richard and Adam are going to sing for us in just a moment.